Welcome to the Ingredient Evolution, your go-to podcast for insights into the world of formulation and manufacturing, with a special focus on cannabis and cosmetics. Join your host and CEO of ILS Ingredients, Dan Margineau, as we explore the cutting-edge science and innovation behind creating top-tier products.
Good morning, everybody. We're here with Shane Davis from ILS Gummies, getting ready to have another wonderful day. So, Shane, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and tell us about you and about your company.
Awesome. Thank you. Excited to be here. A little bit about myself. Born and raised up in the Midwest. Did a lot of moving till I found myself down in Florida. Got my start in my professional career down there doing software as a service. So I spent quite some time in the SaaS industry. Did a lot of financial operations. So a lot of merger and acquisition work is where I got my start. So a lot of that operational finance background. Shortly after that, I jumped into contract manufacturing as their controller and CFO. Wanted to get experience in a completely 180-degree turn industry. Going from, yes, exactly. And then also hone in my technical accounting skills. So like I mentioned, I had a lot of the financial operations side, and then wanted to get into more of the technical cost accounting, manufacturing, and got my feet wet with a co-manufacturer at that. Honestly, a few years after that, got a call from an equity firm that looked to buy our business back when I did that contract manufacturing. They're like, want to move out to Utah. We have a great opportunity. I said, heck no. Utah sounds awful. I had just moved back to Indiana, close to my family. Long story short, I did end up going out to Utah. Bought a company.
Funny how those things work out.
Oh yeah. Yep. Everything's got a price and an opportunity tag to it. I've always believed in moving for opportunity. So that's why I've lived in, I think, 8 states now since being out of college, 14 years ago.
You're almost like an army brat over there.
It does seem like it. When people ask me where I'm from, it's a little hard to answer the question, what year or what month of that year.
Nice.
Yeah. So ended up moving out to Utah, Ogden, Utah, just north of Salt Lake, for a company. It was called LifeTech Edibles at the time. And this was the company that Rosewood Private Investments, based out of Dallas, purchased, asked me to come out there, assess it with our current CEO, Drew Reese, and see what we had out there. Rosewood had also bought another sister company out there, Trace Minerals. They do all their own manufacturing for everything that they make except gummies. So they thought it would be a good, investment to invest in this gummy manufacturer that not only can make products for other customers, but also the company that they just bought. Shortly after that, we ended up buying a company down in Florida, mainly for their assets. So this company, the company was purchased back in March of 22. Okay. The Florida company was bought in November of 22. We had shut down the Ogden facility in November of 22, and then temporarily ran out of Florida while we were building our headquarters just north of Dallas here in McKinney, Texas.
Okay. How big is that facility in McKinney?
So we have a 70,000 square foot facility here in McKinney.
So just a little baby one.
Yes. Yep.
That's a pretty good footprint.
Yeah, exactly. Our old CEO, he had our current CEO, previously built a facility out here just a mile up the road. So he had really good ties in with, the mayor, the inspectors, the McKinney Economic Development Center. They're fantastic to work with. They gave him incentives to build here, to bring jobs here.
Wonderful.
They've been fantastic to work with.
Okay. Awesome. So now you're a Texan.
Yes. Yep. Through and through. My wife wasn't sure about that at the first place, but she's really loving the area down here.
Yeah. Yeah. To your point of when they said Utah and you said heck no, I remember myself. I was at my cousin's wedding in Phoenix. Um, and I remember sitting in the pool in like May and it was like 105 degrees already. And I had a conversation with one of my uncles, and they were like, "Oh, would you ever see yourself moving down here?" And I was like, "No way, not ever." And that was May, and by had no plans, no anything, and by August I lived there. So it's funny how life comes at you with some of those things.
Oh, definitely.
So. Well, so tell me a little bit about what ILS Gummies does, and what's the company about?
Yeah. So we are co-man, so we have no white label products out there, but our focus is nutraceutical gummies. So better for you. Uh, your multivitamins, sleep, beauty, any of your health and wellness, working on creatine and hydration, a plethora of different products out there. One thing that we don't do is any of the THC or CBD products, and that has to do with the values and visions from the core investment group. Uh, but yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, that's the primary focus on as far as the products that we make. We do complete customization in the formulations. So we're a big believer in just having a differentiated product out there in the market. You're not going to the shelf and you got 15 different labels all with the same SFP on it, because they were imported or made by the same co-man. That's
Yeah,
not what we're about. We want our customers to, stand out and be successful in the market. So that being said, too, we have quick lead times. We have some of the smallest MOQs in the industry,
great.
and you know
Low barriers to entry.
exactly, which is it's really difficult for some companies to get into the place or into the market because they want 20,000 bottle orders or 40,000 bottle orders. Our MOQ is 5,000 bottles or 300,000 gummies. We've also been known to lower that, because we believe in the person, we believe in the brand. And yeah, we understand that not everybody's going to hit it, and some of these people will be a one-hit wonder. But we also know that for every, 20, 30 that fail, there's going to be 3, 4, 5 that come out and continue to do well and you know, good to
Yeah,
grow with.
yeah. If you can help them out by providing them with the best quality product, then it gives them the best opportunity to be successful, right?
Exactly.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, what are some of the biggest stressors you have in your business?
Well, manufacturing, I think, is a stressor in itself, right? There's just the constant ebb and flow of, things going good and then machines not working right all of a sudden. But, outside of your standard manufacturing pieces, one challenge that our company has faced, that's been actually pretty difficult to navigate is with Gummy as a delivery system taking off in the industry. You have a lot of brands out there or a lot of companies that are launching products into the market that don't meet label claim, that it's not really efficacious of what's there. And so when other brands see that and come to us and, hey, can we get this much into the gummy? How do we do this? Why is their price point so low? A lot of what we've found is the manufacturers are not putting what they say on the label claim, or you have some products that are very dark in nature, or, there's no way that you can have a translucent gummy, but somehow there's a translucent gummy on the
Yeah.
market, you know?
So do
So,
you guys do third-party testing of other manufacturers?
so that's actually, we have done zero marketing, and our number one sales pitch has really come through word of mouth and sending other brands third-party test results of their product, and then third-party test results of our rendition of their product, saying, hey, this is what you're claiming. Um, you know, if you have an honest brand, this is not what you want to do. Here's what we can do for you. Everything
Yeah.
that we do here meets label claim.
And what kind of percentage of people or brands have come back and said, oh, well, we'd rather work with you versus the ones that say, well, we're good with what we've got?
I wish I could say 100%. But that is not the case. But there, I would say, it's north of 80% of the brands, 80 to 90%.
I mean, quite frankly, that's better than a lot of things I've thought and a lot of things I've personally seen as well. You know, having conversations with people where you're saying, hey, but don't you want your product to work? And their response is kind of like, well, but people buy it now. And you're just
Exactly. And
like, oh, like it's soul crushing for you to see and hear that, knowing A, they're not a honest actor, but on one sense it says, okay, well, that's a person I don't want to do business with. But that also that there's a whole bunch of customers out there that are buying a product and not going to get the benefit of it.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, like I mentioned, I wish it was 100% that would come back to us. But there
But hey,
are
even
brands
north of
out
80
there.
is pretty great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty good. And so that's the general business strategy.
Yeah. Make a high quality product, uh, easy entry to the market, quick lead times. One thing we do is we stock a lot of the components or have agreements with our suppliers to be able to have quicker turnarounds. And that's everything from your, common commodity products to if somebody brings us and they want to use a trademark product, we work hard with those suppliers to work out agreements if there's long lead times to bring it in, stock it locally, and then pull for it, on a Kanban system or something similar, just because we know, one of our big mottos is people doing business with people. And, we believe you're going to, in a lot of these startup companies or lower brands, it's hard to forecast your sales. You're going to have times where it might be slow, but then you're going to have times where for some reason it's just upticking and you don't want to run out of stock. And so
Yeah.
even though we have our schedule set, 6, 8 weeks out, 12 weeks out, we'll work with them to fit them in and get them so they're not out of stock product. So we really work with making that person on the other end the hero for their company, and that's really done us well for the long term.
Yeah, that's a great way to build some loyalty. So making somebody a hero, that helps.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. So generally, like with your guys' operations, it sounds like you guys have a pretty smooth running machine. All in all, like, do you guys implement a lot of like lean manufacturing practices and things like that? You mentioned Kanban, so you know,
Oh, yeah.
as an industrial engineer by trade, that's one of those words that my ear picks up.
So the interesting thing about that is first we have, 4 depositing machines. We have 3 packaging machines with 2 more that just came in. We're looking to expand that out, add 2 more depositing and about 4 more packaging machines just for flexibility. I would love to say that we implement, lean manufacturing to its fullest. One thing that does make that difficult is some of the ingredients that we deal with. When you deal with lead times or if it's coming from overseas, you have to the point to where, hey, we're going to have quick lead times and we want to be able to help you out. some of that we have to take on, the small amount of risk to be able to order ahead or order off forecast, just because, I think a couple years ago, the Shanghai port was shut down for a while, right? And people are still feeling smaller backlashes from COVID, but, pectin suppliers every now and then will have, hey, we're going to go through a shortage. And so in order to combat that, you can't be at lean manufacturing to its fullest. You got to kind of have a dichotomy, a good balance of, all right, how much, where can we be lean and where do we need to take on some additional risk or work with our customers to say, hey, are you guys willing to put in, a deposit to bring this in? I know you don't have POs in for it, but just really having that transparency, and everything that I've said has led to good partnerships with our customers. So just being able to work with them to make sure we can provide quick and quality product when they need it.
Yeah, be honest and forthright with them. Hey, we want to keep this and run this lean. I think a lot of people in manufacturing really second guess that whole just-in-time manufacturing process during COVID, when the supply chain essentially imploded on us. So it made a lot of people rethink that, and I guess at a minimum probably adjust their safety stocks.
Yes, exactly.
So, I think that's and adjust their supply chain and say, hey, maybe is there a better place? Maybe it costs a little more, but can we do this? Hopefully onshoring more of those business relationships, trying to keep them closer at hand. Having it be essentially what ILS became, right? Which you guys were there as an arm of trace minerals, right?
Yep.
So allowing you guys to then, create that vertical within the overall business system.
Exactly.
So what kind of, I guess on a little bit different note, what kind of, innovations and things are you guys looking at? What kind of things are you guys doing? What's on the horizon, maybe? Give us a little sneak peek.
Yeah. It's kind of a twofold aspect of that. Right now we have one other key thing that we do is we have everything from our R&D all the way through packaging, right? So our customers can come to us with a concept. Hey, I'd like to have a metabolism boost, or, hair growth, hydrating skin, something along those lines. And
I'm open for that.
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. But
my kids won't let me have the haircut that you have, so they cry when I tell them that I want to do that. But
yeah.
neither here nor there.
But one thing that is nice is we're able to provide that absolute full turnkey solution from the R&D phase all the way through pack out and shipping. We don't have a 3PL that we're functioning out of, the back of our warehouse. Although, customers have asked us to do some one-off stuff, and we do it,
Yeah.
But we also have good partners for that as well. But as far as the innovation side, a lot of our growth has been working with current customer base or projects that people have come to us. And, it's not, some of them will get on the first or second rendition, but a lot of it is trying just a plethora of flavor houses and pectin suppliers and new cook methods. It's not anything super fun or sexy that's out there for like the next products that's going to make you live forever.
Okay.
But it's really diving down into like what base formula allows us the most flexibility, and then what products are difficult to work out there, are difficult to set up in a gummy, like your creatines, like your magnesiums, your fish oils. What can we do to help mask those flavors? Can we microencapsulate certain products? That way they're not as, they're not going to degrade with the heat that you have to do with a gummy cook. And so a lot of our focus in these early stages of our business and our business development have really been about just building a super strong foundation and base formula to work with a plethora of different active ingredients. Because one thing that we deal with as well is people give you a capsule or they give you a tablet and they're like, I want this in a gummy. Well, the load size is different. No, the load size is different. You can't go 1 for 1. You know, we might be able to take that product and do it into a 4 gummy or 5 gummy serving. But then you also got to make sure it stands up and, you know, there's stability around it as well. So like I said, not too much on driving innovation so far forward right now, other than just really working on building that base that so many people have, you know, had trouble with doing, down to the level that if you go into the store, some of your 60 gummy servings turn into 1 gummy because they've all, you know, melded and bound together.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, one thing that we just, yeah,
trying to
exactly.
shake them out of the bottle and you're digging your finger in there. And yeah, I think we've all been there.
And that was one of the first things we attacked, you know, what can we do to just make getting them out of the bottle more enjoyable? Like, what do we have to do from a cook's side, you know, from a tenacity and level of dryness for like water activity, things like that. Yeah. So we've spent a lot of, you know, trials and tribulations to get a good base.
Okay. You mentioned micro encapsulation. You know, nano is one of those terms that's been thrown around a bunch. You guys doing anything on that front?
We have done a little bit. Our R&D team is fantastic. They're actually currently based out of Utah, and she has been working with almost any product under the sun. Really the nano piece comes into play when we've had trouble getting it to stand up in a gummy, you know, for the stability purposes where it would actually form and congeal. And then the other piece of that would be, again, the flavoring. Sometimes you can, the nano piece can help with the flavoring aspect of it as well.
Okay. What about from like a absorption standpoint, right? I mean, not to get vulgar, but I think we've all taken a B complex or something, and you know, it promises us an extra 10,000% of our recommended daily allowance, and we think we're going to be these, you know, energy machines, and it turns out that, you know, when we go to the restroom, we just have neon yellow, you know, pee there. So what about from that absorption standpoint, like anything you guys have worked on to, you know, not only putting in better ingredients on the front end, but also making sure that they're absorbing in the body?
Yeah. Again, being contract manufacturer, a lot of it is what our current customer or what our new customer base is coming in with. You know, we do recommend certain ingredients or certain aspects, or, hey, this is good to have in there, or if you do too much of this, this is, you know, poisonous. So you probably should steer away from that. You know, someone came to us with a certain B vitamin and it's like, no, I'm pretty sure that's arson. So I wouldn't put that in a gummy. Cyanide. There you go.
Cyanocobalamin versus methylcobalamin, a big difference.
Yeah.
So I've seen that one. It's like, oh wait, this is a cyanide derivative.
Exactly.
And you find it everywhere. I mean, it was in my kid's multivitamin gummy, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't think I want my kids having this.
But one thing that's nice is, you know, we have a chemist by nature in our operations who's done biochemical engineering. Yeah. And then our R&D has been, you know, 25 plus years in tablets, capsules, chews, you know, the last 3-4 years into the gummies. And so she's been around those actives for so long that she's been able to really steer the customers in the right direction to make quality products. And then obviously, you know, the trade shows, all the white papers that come out with new products or, the supply side shows that you have in the US. But being in constant contact with those vendors of, A, how to make it work in a gummy, and B, what is the right dosage, what is the right product, what is better for the, human body consumption, things like that. It's just an ongoing, you're constantly learning and constantly adapting.
Yeah, I think adapt or die, right? So,
Yeah.
so you said you kind of steer people towards the right ingredients and that. Have you run into situations where the customer is like, no, I really want my gummy to have cyanide in it?
No,
Because
not
I know a
really.
lot of it is my understanding
Price
on
point.
some of those is price points, right? Like,
Price point.
well, this ingredient is this, that ingredient is that. Like, we can't afford to do the better one, but
So I think one thing that's made us so successful as a co-manufacturer is we like to believe, again, like I said, into the brand, into the vision of that brand and company. And so if we've hit roadblocks that basically have stopped at R&D. Some of it is, hey, we're not able to do this yet in our stage of business. Other pieces are we haven't seen eye to eye, and it's just not going to be a good partnership moving forward.
yeah,
But everything that we make, we believe in. The people on the line take pride of, from people cooking it to the catchers and our sanitation teams, the people that are, cleaning everything up after. Like, they take pride in what we do. They take pride of seeing these brands and stuff on the shelf or on Amazon. And so it's our job as leaderships and an R&D that if we don't see eye to eye in the beginning stages, to not move forward. So,
smart.
yeah,
I mean, that's, you got to be able to sleep at night, I think, right?
exactly. One thing I always tell everybody is like, imagine your significant other or your kids or your grandparents or parents taking this product. Like, are you okay with that? Because
Yeah,
it's just important to keep that mindset in there.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, because that's who it is, right? It's, you know, you can look at it as you're making a widget, but you kind of have to take it further down that step and say, wait a minute, yes, I'm making a widget, but this is a widget that, people are ingesting, and, I may not know them, or maybe I do, right? Maybe they're
Right.
something that I buy for my family, at the grocery store, or that, my kids are going to have, their classmates are going to be taking this. So, you want to think about that side of it and that aspect of it, and make sure you're doing the right thing.
Exactly.
So, and like I said, I mean, I've dealt with a lot of people in various industries, just through my career, and it it surprises me how many of them aren't as interested in that side of it as I would expect.
A lot of
So it's
people
good
out
to,
there for a quick money grab, and
yeah.
that
So it's good to see a company like yours that's got that mindset, and that's part of their mission. Is doing the right thing and doing good. So that's part of why we wanted you on the podcast, is to highlight that and you know advertise that for you.
I
Because I think
appreciate
that's
that.
important in this day and age, is that there's a lot of companies that are sourcing a lot of subpar ingredients, doing subpar manufacturing techniques, and all the like, not putting what they're saying they're putting in, and it's good to see companies that still have good American values. So, anything else we didn't bring up that you wanted to talk about?
Honestly, the the last thing I'd really would just like to touch on is, a lot of credit gets put on the executives, myself or the CEO, but really, one thing, we couldn't do it without the great team that we've put behind us, right? Like I mentioned before, everything from the sanitation to our depositing and packaging, our mid-level and senior level managers, even the McKinney economic, the McKinney EDC, who've been so supportive of building a business and bringing it here. And then obviously our investing group as well, Rosewood Private Investments and Catalina Capital. So it really just takes a holistic team to be able to build and grow the vision that we've had here. And so very, very thankful to, everybody from all levels.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a village, The guy who cleans the equipment or maintains the equipment is just as, or in some cases more important than the executive team, right? I mean, it's really about, everybody doing their part and keeping the machine running.
Exactly.
And by machine, I mean also, the overall machine of the business running. So,
No,
well,
exactly.
good.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome. Well, we'll stop our recording here. I'll have you stay on, and we can continue chatting. We'll do a little wrap up. But thank you again
Perfect.
for your time, and hopefully this helps bring some more awareness your way.
I appreciate it, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.